I've been listening to Back for Attack era Dokken, in particular, Burning Like a Flame. I have no idea why that song wasn't a bigger hit, because it really has everything, and I think arguably the best hook and the best, most melodic guitar solo out of George Lynch. Just a fantastic band. And I think they got bigger outside of the United States, but they were on the Monsters of Rock tour. So think about this. They were billed at that time ahead of bands like Metallica. I mean, Dokken was a huge band and really well respected as musicians. I wouldn't say that Don Dokken was always well respected as a person, and certainly George Lynch has been known to sometimes be a little bit difficult, but even going back to In My Dreams, what a great tune. And of course, they're Dream Warriors. Really good band. In some ways, I think maybe a little bit underrated, particularly George Lynch. But I probably would have swapped them, at least for now. I probably would have put them lower on the list, just because their overall catalog doesn't hold up compared to some others. Just my opinion. So now, other than the band that kind of kicked off the whole hair thing was Quiet Riot. But the band that was right on their heels was another LA band that had one of the biggest hits that I think today is still played on radio, and it's still really super catchy, and probably one of those songs that you can say, that's a perfect song. It's a perfectly structured song. This is the band Rat, and of course, I'm talking about the song Round and Round. So Rat, Stephen Pearcy on lead vocals, Warren DeMartini, Robin Crosby on guitar, Juan Crucier on bass, and Bobby Blotzer on drums. I mean, Warren DeMartini is also, I think, one of those folks that's maybe a little bit underrated as a guitar player, but certainly Robin Crosby, he also, passed, unfortunately due to complications from HIV/AIDS. They were both equally good guitar players, except for, different styles. But I think Robin was known for being, a songwriter or a stronger songwriter. But I even think about later, Rat stuff like Way Cool Jr. I thought that was a killer song. They had some really good stuff. But again, they're another one that isn't necessarily someone that I go back and listen to regularly from a whole album perspective. Certainly songs of theirs are always on my playlist. But I think they're probably about right at a number 7. So now we're getting into really some of the bread and butter bands for me in general. And one that really, I joke, kicked off my musical career. And that is the oft-mentioned on this podcast, Whitesnake. Whitesnake, here's a band that was very much in the classic rock genre. David Coverdale, been with, Deep Purple, and Whitesnake as a band had been around for, a decade at this point. But very much that, bluesy, old school, British rock and roll. Obviously, Coverdale's a bright guy. He sees what's going on, and he's working with this guy, John Sykes. And they kind of update the sound, the image, all of it, including re-recording Here I Go Again. By the way, if you've never heard the original, it is amazing how a simple tweak to a lyric can completely change everything about a song, as far as how it flows, how catchy it is. But the original version of Here I Go Again, structurally very similar, but it might as well be 2 different songs. Really amazing. And I read a quote, which I found really fascinating, by, of all people, George Harrison. I mean, the George Harrison said that the re-recorded version of Here I Go Again is evergreen. And I think that is so true. That is a timeless song. It will always be on radio. 100 years from now, that song, I think, will be known. It is an amazingly well-crafted song, and it deserved to be the huge hit that it was. And the first rock song that I sang with a band, not just using recorded backing tracks and basically glorified karaoke at, talent shows or whatever. But Whitesnake then just went on a run of touring. They toured with Motley Crue. They toured solo with Great White. They had some turnover in the band. Vivian Campbell leaves, joins Def Leppard after Steve Clark dies. Bring in Steve Vai of all freaking people. Just those couple of records in that mid to late 80s period. I mean, there was just nobody better. I mean, they deserve to be on any list of any rock band, much less hair band or hard rock band. They're just one of the best bands of all time. So next on the list is interesting at 5, because they were kind of the godfathers of all of this, and certainly one of the links between that New York Dolls, punk rock into rock and roll, and someone who I didn't talk to him in depth or anything, but at least got to be around and have a brief hello. And that's Twisted Sister. And of course, I'm talking about Dee Snider. I met him during the Widowmaker days. Take a sip here. And Twisted Sister, they were the anthem band. So the lore is they were an independent band that ended up selling out a major arena. I don't know if it was the Meadowlands. I forget exactly what it was, but no label support. It was just them. I don't even think they had an opening act. And they sold out like a 10, 15,000, seat arena. They were the precursor to basically everything. And you combine that with Dee Snider testifying before Congress about music and censorship and the whole PMRC thing. And they're just legendary for so many reasons. Do I think their whole catalog is that strong, though? Me personally, no. So I think I'd probably put them lower based upon the music, the records. But as far as legacy, I think it's hard to put them any lower because of what they represent. That's a tough one. Because certainly when I was, what year is this? I mean, this was probably, I want to say 84 probably. So all that early MTV, I Want to Rock, We're Not Going to Take It. These were anthems. And I just remember many years later, one of the Lollapalooza tours, Green Day was on there, and they were doing a version of We're Not Going to Take It. So they also definitely had that linkage to punk rock. But you can't really, I guess, discount their legacy and their impact on rock and roll and glam metal. So here's one that is divisive. And it's divisive only because do they truly belong in the genre of hair metal? Now, I ask this not because they don't have a hell of a good guitar player with wicked solos. By the way, also kind of underrated. But they've also been such a big band that they've somewhat transcended the genre and are just kind of a hard rock band. I would put them more in the Journey Foreigner category than I would glam band. But nevertheless, it's kind of hard to, again, discount their impact, the bands that they toured with. Really the people that they toured with kind of dictated where they fell. So I think the reason that they're kind of lumped in with hair bands is they were touring with those guys. And that is, of course, New Jersey's own Bon Jovi. I don't know about you, but I don't know almost anyone from Gen X other than those thrash metal guys who are like, I hate those guys, who didn't own Slippery When Wet. I mean, seriously, who didn't own Slippery When Wet? Those songs are also, to use that George Harrison phrase, evergreen. I mean, Living on a Prayer is forever, man. You will always hear that song. Maybe not as much as You Give Love a Bad Name. You'll hear that too. But Wanted Dead or Alive? Forever. I know for me, it's songs like Never Say Goodbye or Raise Your Hands. I mean, I know the whole freaking record inside and out. So was it Alec John, and it was Dave Bryan, Richie Sambora, oh my gosh, Tico Torres on drums. I mean, they were just a machine back then. Unfortunately, I went to go see them with one of my aunt's boyfriends at the time, who fancied himself kind of like he should have been Bon Jovi. Nevertheless, we get there late, which sucks because I then miss opening act Skid Row. And I really wanted to see Skid Row. And of course, they're all Jersey friends and all that. But as someone who's a singer, how do you not want to go see Sebastian Bach? So we get there late. We then end up having to leave early because he almost gets into a frickin' fight. So I got about 3/4 of the set, and I didn't even get to stay for their encore. So I did not get the big songs. I will just say, what I did see, they're pretty frickin' good. So, are they a hair band? Maybe. But I guess we'll leave them at number 4. Next is a band that I have seen in concerts all in the 80s and 90s countless times. And the first time I saw them, they were an opening act for David Lee Roth on his arena tour. I think that was on Skyscraper, the Skyscraper album for David Lee Roth. This is probably the band, in my opinion, that should be number 1 and not number 3. Poison. I mean, I know who number 1 is. I looked ahead. I guess I see why 1 is 1. But Poison is the quintessential glam band. I mean, everything about it. That first album, you look at the cover, everyone's like, are these women? Are these men? Completely androgynous. More makeup and hairspray than you'll ever see. The songs are raunchy. CeCe's guitar work is sloppy and kind of punk rock. That opening riff to Talk Dirty to Me is just a straight up punk rock riff. Brett is not a particularly great singer. The band is just solid, if unspectacular. Yet, the 4 of them together created something bigger than themselves. And it all worked perfectly. I mean, they're one of the only? Are they the only? Well, no. So Here I Go Again went number 1. I'm not sure. I'd have to look and see if Round and Round did. But I know the old, Come On Feel the Noise did. But Every Rose Has Its Thorn is a timeless classic. And I know at the time some of the critics were like, oh boy, another cheesy ballad from Poison. But when you look at it overall, I mean, it's just a solid tune. I mean, it covers everything that you would want. But every time I've seen them in concert, it was just a great, great time, It's interesting. How did they write this? So the author of this particular article says, something to love about Poison. They made listening to hair metal fun. And somehow their songs managed to withstand the test of time. You can play their classics loud, and today's music still won't hold a candle to them. I mean, it's true. Open Up and Say Ah as an overall album has some really underrated tunes on it. And again, I've read reviews where people are like, well, the lyrics are kind of trite, and doesn't every LA band write some song about, moving to LA and how it changes your life, either positively or negatively, and the price of fame, whatever. I'm telling you right now, you go listen to Fallen Angel, the entire structure of that song, everything from the riff, bridge parts, all of it. That is probably their best song, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know how people can overlook it. I mean, you can hate them all you want. And that's fine. But I think that there's probably no bigger flag bearer, for glam metal than Poison. Really damn good. So much like Bon Jovi,